Why do some languages have grammatical gender? If your first language is English, you've probably been confused by this at some point, because we can just say the city and the sky, but in Spanish it's la ciudad and el cielo, because some nouns are feminine and some nouns are masculine, and there doesn't really seem to be any rhyme or reason as to why. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, because in German, nouns can be feminine, masculine, and neuter, and in other languages it gets way more complicated than even that. But why? I mean, we seem to get by just fine in English with our one word for the. What's the point of assigning genders to different words in the first place? It's a great question and a very complex one, so I want to start off by clarifying something about the way that languages evolve. At no point in the history of any language were people going around like, masculine, feminine, the water? Yeah, it could be feminine, yeah. Languages don't just spring up out of nowhere, nor are they the passion projects of individual people dedicated to figuring out the most efficient grammatical strategy or anything like that. No, they're evolving. They're always evolving. And as far as communication is concerned, if you say something and someone else understands you, boom, success, no notes, the language worked. With that in mind, if something doesn't get in the way of communication, it may well stick around. Or, maybe it won't, because languages are changing all the time. Now, with that being said, if your first language is English, grammatical gender might seem completely arbitrary, but it's not actually useless. Let me explain. Let's forget the gender part for a second and call them A nouns and B nouns. Now imagine you're talking to someone and they're speaking really quickly and you're maybe not able to make out everything that they're saying. In that case, it might actually be really helpful to have some words that go with the A nouns and some with the B nouns, because it lets you whittle down all of the possible words it could be. In other words, that extra layer of redundancy with the grammatical gender actually gives your brain another clue about what any given word could be. Perhaps it would even be extra helpful if there were an at least somewhat regular pattern about what words sounded like and what gender they were. In fact, with that in mind, a lot of languages, instead of the whole feminine, masculine, neuter thing, they'll do animate and inanimate nouns, or alive and not alive, or maybe human-like and not human-like, or collective and not collective. That is to say, the gender of the noun could actually give you a clue about its meaning. Now, of course, these distinctions aren't necessarily regular. These are languages we're talking about, after all. If you're curious, I highly recommend this video if you want to learn more about the history of grammatical gender in Indo-European languages, that is to say English, Spanish, Hindi, French, German, etc. In the meantime, I hope that satiated at least a little bit of your curiosity. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.